we're gonna take a look at Marauders, an extract shooter that is an indie game and currently is slowly making its way up the leaderboard in extract shooters, definitely in my list of favorites. And I will tell you, is it worth to buy or not? Well, at least my opinion. I cannot really force you to buy or not buy a game, but I will also go through some ups and downs about the game, and and I will also give my honest opinion. How is it for me after playing several hours onto the game? And so the game is set in 1989 around the moons of Jupiter, and the game is based off of a couple nations fighting war amongst each other and trying to get all the valuable materials. But as it went on, war and fighting made certain mercenaries and everything go solo and just become, well, marauders and try to live off the scraps and just shoot and kill everyone in sight. That, or you can also play as duos and trios, and that definitely also gives some fighting edge over some players on the map. The game is not that simple as just simply click launch game or ready to deploy, and same as in Tarkov that you just spawn in a map and run around. No, you actually spawn in your own spaceship and you have to fly to certain areas where you can dock. There's usually per map 2 or 3 areas where you can dock, or you can play a Somali pirate role in space and hijack other ships by trying to breach them with your escape pod and fight and take over the ships. And if the ship is of value after extracting, you can also just sell it for cash. The weaponry in the game is post World War II and World War II era, since, well, it is the 1989 area. So you see Tommy guns, you see other bolt action rifles, semi-automatics, some shotguns, you also see some of the classic pistols, also the Colt 1911. There's 2 versions of it, which is pretty cool. And the weapon and gunplay is, I personally think, pretty cool. It's not as complicated as it is in Tarkov, where you have even blacked out limbs and all that. You just have health, and your character also can get exhausted, so you have to have water on you, and some food heals you. Bandages, medkits, and so on are also one of the items present. And I personally find it very, very cool that I don't have to find specific things to like fix up limbs, and definitely makes the playing a bit easier, more casual for those players that are looking for a more casual experience but still a competitive enough extract shooter. You don't have to also load up your mags, actually. You just have to have that specific ammo type that that weapon uses, and it will automatically just take it out of your inventory. You will just reload, so the firefights can, well, be quicker done with, or, well, longer. You don't have to separately continuously reload your mags and then jump in back into the firefight and possibly lose because of it. You just have to have that specific ammo type that that weapon uses. And I personally find this also very handy, and I very much like that, actually. And this is one of the reasons why I like the game more than I do Tarkov. And I will get into that a bit more a bit later, after going over some other details that I personally find very interesting and very pleasant in the game. So before I continue on with the video, I definitely want to say that in this game you won't get banned for killing, well, Nikita's favorite streamer or any kind of high tier Twitch streamer that insta reports you and has BSG in their pocket. That is not an issue with these developers in this game. It's a fair fight. You win, nice, you take their loot and extract, or if you get greedy you can also get defeated, but that's part of the game. But the game loop is pretty easy to learn, at least at the start. It doesn't seem like it, but the more hours you put into the game, you don't even have to put in thousands of them. For me, it was like 5, 6, and I already was familiar with some maps and certain spawn locations, and I could navigate myself a bit more easily. So I'd say if you don't want the risk of being banned for killing some streamer, definitely pick this game up. It's nice for a change not to be banned or be a victim of a system that can be easily abused. But anyways, back to the actual video. So, my personal opinion on the game is that it's definitely worth taking, even if it's not on sale, and if you have the spare money for it or just seem interested and can't afford it, you should definitely pick it up. It's fun to play, you can play with friends. There's no voice chat in the game, there's only a couple voice lines you can currently say, but it definitely still is fun. Sometimes there are some issues with the game, but it's in early access right now and it gets updated more and more as time goes on, and the team is rather small behind the game, so there's nothing much I can say about the frequency of updates and game breaking bugs being fixed, but there are none. To my experience, the game hasn't crashed once. The performance is pretty darn stable. I personally get close to 60 FPS stable at all times. Doesn't matter I'm in space and having like a spaceship battle or breaching ships or entering any map. Sometimes, yes, whilst it loads in, I drop to 20 FPS for like 1 to 2 seconds, but I must agree my computer is not the best in the market. But it definitely runs on lower end systems too. The game is pretty well polished and looks great comparing to the size of the team that they have. There are some downsides to it, and I will get into them right now. So first I want to mention AI. AI is good at times, like very good. You cannot distinguish them from players at times, and sometimes they're just plain right bad. And why would I say that? Well, sometimes they can run up to you with their weapon in hand and not even fire a single shot and just look at you. And sometimes they respond like actual players. They spot you walking on a catwalk and they're like a floor below and they start shooting at you, or overall start moving towards you, and sometimes there's more and they hear some footsteps and they actually react to that kind of stuff. But sometimes, as I mentioned, they're plain right just like mannequins standing in place, and that also comes in handy if you're doing a pistol run and trying to get some easy loot and you're running out of cash. That definitely is an option. The next positive side though is that, well, loot is easy to come by. You can loot almost anything. Yes, sometimes you may run out of money from traders to buy stuff, but you can definitely just go to any map, hide out for a while, and then collect all the loot from everyone that has been downed. I have done that a couple times and picked up pretty high-end stuff and sold half of it. My stash right now is almost full, but that was because I got a little ballsy and started fighting players, and I won actually a pretty decent amount of fights, like 1 versus 2 or 3. But that was, I think, because I got lucky, because some fights I can't even win a 1v1 against a bot. But that's part of the game. So, let's get to the part about cheaters. I've read Steam reviews saying that there's a bunch of cheaters in the game, but I personally have not encountered them in the amount of games I have played. Definitely have not seen anything shady. I've seen moments when, my mess up led to me also being absolutely demolished by a 2-stack. But that's, as I said, part of the game. It's an extract shooter. So personally, from personal experience, I'd say there are no cheaters, so that's another win for Marauders compared to Tarkov, which is riddled with cheaters and God knows what else. One more amazing thing about Marauders is the fact that you can change your appearance. You don't have to have specific gear how you have to have in Tarkov, where you just buy certain armors that change your look, kind of. It's an actual player skin that you can unlock. For instance, there's certain things like enemies that you can kill, and you unlock certain looks like different helmets, different overall body outfits, and it's pretty cool that they have implemented that kind of a system. Some you can unlock by just leveling up and buying it with cash that you earn from selling stuff and buying stuff. And spaceships, you're not just limited to crafting them. You can literally steal them from any player or even boss, which is the Red Baron currently. You can steal it from him and keep it as your own as long as you don't get boarded and well, demolished. Then your ship is gone. Someone else can take it. But other than that, you can board almost any ship you see on the map, AI or player, and you can take it over if you wish, and if you have the capabilities of demolishing certain amount of enemies before they demolish you. And as my final thoughts and words, I might sound like a broken record when I say this, but this game, in my opinion and in my eyes, and after playing it for a while, seems to be much better than Escape from Tarkov. There's no streamers that get players banned. There's basically no cheaters, at least to my experience. The gameplay is smooth. Even though there are some bugs in the game, it's still playable. The game doesn't crash randomly. For me, definitely hasn't. The frame rate is stable. The gameplay loop is pretty cool. And I very much like the fact that you actually get in your spaceship, fly to somewhere, and then you proceed on with the game, or you can just steal other players' spaceships, or just, well, shoot at them until it blows up, and then you can breach it and take all the players' stuff. And that, I personally think, is very, very cool. So, with that being said, I will end the video with these final 3 words: loot, kill, extract.